becomes the
of
wavy
chatwater
inflatable arm
here.
person when we go live.
I was thinking more like an
I'm the
octopus.
ghost of Chatwater Pass. What other ghosts do we have here today?
The
Play
We're
ghost
your
not.
of
I'm not
the,
face.
buying. I'm not buying into this bitch.
the ghost of the
That's why you're
sanity of your lore
Scrooge.
keeper.
That's why you're Scrooge, Yanis. We got two other ghosts. Who's what? I'm the ghost of Chatwater
M's the
Pass.
ghost of future because of the
No,
hope that she
no, no.
bears.
They get to decide what ghost they are, Scrooge. Scrooge doesn't get to decide the
I
ghosts.
imagine. I'm sorry that this is where you end up, Yanis. I imagine that I'm the ghost of Chatwater present, as I'm not going to be here for very long.
Yeah, and I am the ghost of Chatwater future because I am the only thing driving this entire show
Yes.
forward.
Without M, there is no
And
future.
somehow I am Scrooge.
Because you didn't want to play into space, Yanis. That's
Yeah,
classic
Yanis.
Scrooge behavior. But by the end of this episode, maybe you will have learned a little lesson about the value of the spirit of Chatwaterness.
Oh my gosh. So speaking of in the spirit of Chatwaterness, we are going to do things a little differently today because who knows if we'll actually get to any lore because there was so much to unpack about the previous episode. So we're going to start with announcements. We'll run the intro and then we're going to dive into the episode recap. So announcements. Sean, what are you drawing today? What are you
I
drawing?
don't know. Fucking leave me alone. I'll figure it out.
Okay.
Bringing a real chaotic energy today.
What an
and I love
energy
it.
today. Okay, a big thank you to our sponsors, Legend Craft, a nerdy woodworking company from Calgary, and Silver Ring Armory, selling paper products for all your RPG needs. Check them out, and if something tickles your fancy, enter the code Blackwater for a discount. Legend Craft has an ongoing Kickstarter that they're running till the end of February, which is part of the Make 100 campaign, where they're making D2s like coin flip that double as an 8-space tracker for whatever you need in your game. Type !Legendcraft to get in on the action through our exclusive Blackwater link. And love as always to our dice goddess Keisha and our campaign artist Tiana. You can find them at fairydragon_dice and at miss._marston on Instagram respectively. Keisha has created beautiful dice for us for our characters, so if you would like custom dice for your character, please head on over and give her a message on Instagram. And Tiana has very limited art spots every month. She's just a treat and a delight. She's currently working on some art for us for something I've talked about a bit on Saturday, but I'll talk about a bit again here at the end. And the proofs are amazing. They're just beautiful, and I cry every time I see them. So if you also want to come hang out with us more, come hang out with us on Discord. It's an amazing place. Type !Discord to find the link to come hang out while we're streaming. Hang out in the Twitch chat because that's where all the cool kids are. Round 2 of the Gravelies is out. We need your help nominating some amazing moments. The cast and some of our mods have already gotten in on there, so please, please, please head on over to our Discord and check out the Gravelies. We need your help nominating some episodes for our 1-year anniversary, which is coming on March 17th. So please, please, please head on over there and help us vote. Why haven't you done it yet? Go do that, please.
Because I'm drawing a thing.
Sean,
I'm
go
drawing
back
a
to
thing
drawing.
right now.
Go back to drawing.
Okay.
A big
I'm
thank
just saying,
you.
I felt called out. Why haven't I done it? Because I'm drawing a thing. It's part of.
A big thank you to everyone who subscribes to us. Don't forget to re-up your subscriptions as they don't roll over every month. We also have a coffee which allows you to support our show above and beyond a subscription if you want to. Type !Donate in the chat to do that. Also, we're just thankful to have you here. We love having you show up week after week and tell your friends about the show, your dads, or whatever parental figure you have. It's truly wonderful, and we're so grateful. Lore Club. Sean's having
I had a really good thing going, and now it's a bad thing.
Oh no! But you know what's never a bad thing? Lore Club.
Lore Club.
Want to get involved in chronicling our history? You do because you're here on Chatwater. To hang out with our amazing mod, the New Experience Network, as well as some of our other mods and folks from our community. I know Fernando is in there, CS Graham, all of our folks we love near and dear. This community lore project is a beautiful thing. I love it very much. Head on over to !Lore in our Twitch chat, and it will send you a link to get involved through a Google form to make sure you're a real person who really loves lore, because I know you are. Next, some programming information for this week. This coming Wednesday, Jen and Len and myself are back for character development. We'll be taking questions, giving some advice, and I will be doing a tarot reading for Yana from the Adventurer's Tarot deck on Weirdworks. I did one for Callie last last month, and Yana, we will do this month because they take a little while. And if you would like to submit any questions, type !survey in the chat to take you to our anonymous survey. And of course, we're back on Saturday for our main campaign. We're also going to continue doing the announcements for the 2 upcoming shows we have that we're very excited about. On February 24th, we're back for our monthly one-shot, and we are getting ready to party. In celebration of Len's birthday, we are running an all-party Paladin one-shot. Tim and Len are homebrewing the Oath of the Party, and we will be playing newly oath-sworn Paladins of the party, and it will be a raucous good time. Do we know what Tim has planned for us? Absolutely not. Some of us have our characters? Yes, we do. And we were told to give Tim a brief description of what our holy symbol looks like. And I'm very excited. I know Matt is excited for his character that I haven't heard anything about, but I'm very excited for. So yeah, there'll be a bunch of us there, and it's going to be a real fun time. And as we announced on Saturday, one of our big new announcements is that we at Blackwater are going to be hosting the Wagadu Chronicles on our channel, DM'd by the creator, Alan Cusidio, from Wagadu. Like, oh my god, I'm so excited about it. It's going to be myself, and it's going to be some just like unreal cast. TJ Storm, B. Dave Walters, Alicia Marie, and Brianna DeCoster. It's fuck, my brain is exploding. Tiana has been doing some of the art for our characters. Holy smokes, I'm losing it. I think you're gonna like it. So this is gonna be happening for our March one shot, so it's a little bit away, but if you have not checked out Wagadu, please go. You can just Google the Chronicles of Wagadu, Wagadu, and go get yourself involved and like read the lore book. There's just a 300-page lore book that is out that you can just read for free because they wanted to get this content into your hands. Yeah, so go and hang out in that lovely lore space. Other than that, I don't think I have any other announcements. But if you're new to us tonight or you've been with us for ages, thank you so much for your support. We love you immensely. Happy to have you here. And Sean, I'm gonna roll the intro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Oh,
roll
no,
the
no,
intro.
I got it.
You
I got it.
Okay.
This will derail. It took 3 passes because I had to learn about things. But I did try to do Scrooge Yanis. That Scrooge Yanis being very upset at the world because he doesn't know the spirit of chatwater mess. But maybe by the end of this episode.
By the end of the episode. Well, Yanis, you have
We'll
some time
see.
to think about it while I roll the intro. We're rolling the intro. And we're back.
This is one of the attempts. I did 2 attempts. Turns out if you color it in, it becomes very difficult to tell what's what. But it was important to me that his arms were crossed because he's a Scrooge.
Okay, lads, let's talk about
Hey,
last
what
episode.
happened last time?
Yanis?
I think the most. I wanted to
Nothing
talk about the most important thing we learned. Alora was described as tall and muscular build, so she was in fact 6'2" with a swimmer's body, and no one commented on it. No one. Tim gave us what we asked for, and you guys all let it slip by. And I very rarely am I disappointed with your guys' gameplay, and I was aghast. I watched Sean's face. I was like, is there going to be any recognition that he's like, other than the scar on the face? We called it, and no one did anything about it.
Yeah, and if I'm gonna be real with you, there was just so much being thrown at us. She was because like just the fact that she was like Joseph Gordon-Levitt on the wall, fucking Inception or whatever the fuck. I was like, wait, what?
And we're in a dream palace. We were in a dream palace.
Yeah.
My brain was fried too much to make a callback. And you're right. That was my failing. I will be better.
We were in survival mode.
And not to mention with what we had, like the news we had previously received, just going into that.
Oh my god. So okay, because I just want to break down like step for step what happened.
Yeah.
We went through the salt thing and just immediately fought golems, right? That's what happened.
I'm opening
It split
the
the party, which was terrifying at the moment.
That was a good time. I actually really enjoyed that. I thought that could have gone. That was one turn away from being so bad for a lot of people.
That might have been the worst way to split the party.
Yeah, no healers.
Well, like you've got your healers and your tanks on one side and your wizards on the other side. And like Letters is pretty tanky, like as wizards go, but
Mhm.
still, not Callie.
Not Callie.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, like, so first we actually enter into the cellar, which is the place with the 4 little globes, and find out that she has these like security cameras
Oh yeah.
on these 4 rooms. We figure out like who we find out is Kindry or who we have a sense is Kindry, and then we go through and get separated. So we're just like, well, fuck, are we gonna go walk into this girl's bedroom, not even knowing? And then we get to go fight some golems separated and don't even know where each other are because Kokanee's message can't work through the wall.
We didn't even ask what the maps were about. There were so many things. Like once we got to Halora, it was like, you know what was great? Meeting the caretaker and just be like, oh, you seem like a chill guy. Hey, can we ask you some questions? Why, of course you can.
Well,
Oh.
my sense was like with the caretaker, it was just kind of like, okay, you are like, yes, you have your own sentience, but you are a created, you are like a construct that has been created to do a couple things to keep this place, and you have information. You would give information without emotional connection to it, so we don't have to worry unless we're like attack him about our emotional connection, because he would just be like very matter of fact about it, which was great, and willing to share, which was like a delight. That was good.
I was really thrilled we got into a room where we didn't have to fight or blow up.
Yeah. I mean, I think things could have broke bad really quick because of those 5 like piston lightning balls that were embedded in the ceiling that he could have just sicked on us anytime. If
Yeah, but we
things
were
had broke
polite.
bad, we were very polite.
And
Hey,
Letters also didn't touch anything, which was a first for him in any of the rooms, and I think was probably the secret to our success.
I mean, I like to think that I touched the caretaker on an emotional level, but
Yes, of course.
and Matt, I just want to shout out to you for 100% being like, hey, let's not destroy this Warforged, because if we did, the scene that we just did last time would have, Halora would have been so mad.
So mad, and would have broke very bad. Would have broke very bad. Yeah.
I mean, you're skipping over the fact that Neppy had a crazy dream where the Matron of Vengeance came to visit her.
There's so much.
Tim loves a dream sequence. He did it with Valsoom and Kokanee on Kokanee and Neppy's wedding night. Like, Tim loves a dream sequence. He loves that.
Dreams are one of the best mechanics in D&D.
Absolutely.
And it's the reason is, as we talked about it a little bit on Behind the Screen one time, was like, it's very hard in D&D to have dialogue between a character and a villain where they can see each other without it degrading immediately into violence.
Yeah.
Like so often you like see the dragon and you'd be like, hey, and they're like, hey, and then you're like, I attack it, And so having a mechanic where it's like, there's no violence happening here. You can't hurt me. I can't hurt you, but I'm going to talk to you, allows you to like develop the villain in a way that is so powerful without it just becoming combat immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we can, because hindsight is 2020, but we can pretty much clearly say that it was a good thing you guys decided to keep going rather than just immediately leaving to go get the kid, because you were like literally one room away from solving the puzzle of the house.
Fuck, when she's like,
you'd just been like, okay, that's we'll come back later, I guess.
Just after the whole talk we had about like, oh, should we sleep now? Should we not? And then she's like, yes, come talk with me on a bed. I was like, we made the right call because we didn't know it was going to go that way, but damn.
Yeah. Also, what would have happened? Would the Matron of Vengeance have shown up in the Dream Palace?
She could have, no, like, I think it was the thing
Would
was
a dream
that
within a dream?
she would have come at
Proper Inception.
midnight, regardless of what was happening, whether Neppy was awake or asleep, she would have come at midnight. So, like, Neppy could have been awake and been just like, hey, here's the matron, just casually shows up to you while Neppy was awake. I was happy Neppy was sleeping and was there alone. I mean, I wasn't happy about it, but I thought that it was I thought that it was fitting that the matron
mean,
would
it's
have
not
come to Neppy alone.
it's not good what she's asking.
Oh no,
It's
no.
possibly
pretty
the
icky.
worst.
It
It's
is
pretty
the
icky.
it is the most awful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, like, she's for sure using him as bait to get to Paylor, right?
I think
Or
he's
just
either.
as a way of punishing Paylor, or
You know what? I like based on what Halora said, talking about how the matron put out calls for help and none of the Pantheon heeded the call. I think this is a punishment of the Pantheon. I think I don't, and like I had a little brain, like yesterday, um, uh, that was based like while I was just kind of like going through the lore, that was basically like, what if she's got one from each of the gods? What if she has one
and
from
you know,
each?
you
Well,
know
she's
how
already
getting,
got him, and Kato's the last
and
one.
he's the one that she can't get because of XYZ. Like my
you know how
first
she
thought was
gets
like, oh
the
my god, what if she has softly? Like what if she has softly?
well, what it, you know, she gets the other two by having them bring the third one that she doesn't have.
Yeah,
Like, how
exactly.
does
She
she
gets
get?
Neppy and she gets Kokanee
And she
and
gets, it's like all three in one.
or Melora. She could take Callie because she knows Callie's a follower of Melora. So there's like because our party is so connected to the gods, she doesn't really have to like she's just
Well,
like
Callie's got
Wizards,
his
you
Kamea
can
now,
go.
right?
The rest of Blackwater, I got
yeah.
you.
Callie's
Well,
got his Kamea now, so you know.
True.
But
She could get Kamea because
She could get
Kamea
Kamea.
is pretty deep in the
yeah,
Melora
you guys are gonna show
lore.
up there, and Kamea's gonna be there.
fuck, like that was my thing. I was like, I think she's trying to punish the whole pantheon. And
I think that's too small, personally. Like, I think like, I'm gonna find a bunch of their, you know, what is the term? Their heroes or their
chosen.
champions, and I'm gonna kill them. Like, it seems too.
Oh no.
small.
I think we are pawns. I think the people that she's going to like have there are like the pawns for something much bigger, like some cosmic god level shit. I don't know though.
I mean, I reckon because I reckon this is the first of many because it's Paylor's birthday or whatever the fuck tomorrow, and like it's Paylor's champion
Today.
coming. Whatever, you know, sunrise. I don't know. Look, I'm not. What am I? A calendar? The point is, it's like it's Paylor's whole thing. It's Paylor's kid.
Yeah.
I think this is just a Paylor party to set the stage for like, okay, this has happened to Paylor, and with the power that I've gained from Paylor, who's like kind of the fucking dad of the Pantheon, if we're being real.
The
like,
Dawn Father, yes.
yeah, he's terribly powerful in like a very conventional might makes right kind of way.
Yeah.
If you can capture that, then you can swing at all the others.
It's a
So-
message for sure.
One thing that I'm sort of picking up on what Yanis was saying was that, you know, I don't think she's just looking to kill them. But if you were gonna say, what if your goal was to get revenge on Paylor, Arathis, and Nympthisicat at the same time? This is the son of the Sun Speaker, am I right?
Yes.
So you're killing the son of the champion of Paylor.
Well, technically, Cato is the champion of Paylor because he fought in the Gods Brawls.
Killing the champion of Paylor, son of the Sun Speaker, which would like do massive damage, not maybe to Paylor, but to like the followers of Paylor.
Mm-hmm.
But can you imagine what it will do to Neppy and Kokanee? Like, not from a physical level. Like, I don't think she needs to kill Neppy and Kokanee, but if they did that and then she killed that child, like emotionally, what it does to the leaders of two other religions.
I don't think she's gonna kill him. I think there's some sort of magic-y thing going on, right? Like some sort of like ability to get to Paylor. Like like I'm saying, the only reason I'm saying is like it's too small. Is like she's trying to get at someone who you usually can't get at on the day where he can cross over with his champion. Like there's something that she's trying to go somewhere or get him here.
I mean, because that's how she got it, right? Because she was in physical form and got stabbed.
Yeah.
Like,
She might.
and what do we know about Paylor? Paylor does not take insults well.
No.
Paylor takes that shit personally and likes to deal with it. You know, he sends his lieutenants and whatnot. But on the day where he can physically show up, I think Paylor's the type to run at a waving red flag.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree.
What if she's stuck here
Mm,
right now?
Oh, she can't get back to the
on the
Pantheon.
material.
Well, in the same way that Arathis became not powerful enough to ascend and basically was stuck on a demiplane, what if the Matron of Vengeance is currently stuck here?
On the
And she
material
needs
plane.
And
she needs a
on
doorway to the
and
plane of the gods.
and if we say that in theory this is when the planes are the closest and it is most capable for Pelor to come down here, maybe all she's doing is taking the boy so that some form of door, doing something bold enough to get Pelor to open some sort of gateway for her to reascend.
Well, and she's going
And
to
she
be
just
doing
hermit
it.
crabs with them.
Well, and she's going to do it
Pelor counts
in
and
the
she sneaks
former
in close.
stronghold of her belief, which was
Mhm.
Manta. We also know that she has summoned all of the Kenku, like all of the Kenku priestesses across the entire world, except for Softly, have gone. Like all of the Kenku that were at Philenis are gone, and that's like the Kenku are very, very rare in this world. So, and essentially, we're all like followers of the Raven Queen. Um, and so, like those, like the three that were at Philenis, and Wisha being the like essentially high priestess of the of what's her face, the Raven Queen, has gone. Like Wisha at Philenis was the keeper of the ways of the Raven Queen that were like folded into Nepthisicet's traditions. Like the priestesses of Nepthisicet honored the old ways, but they weren't identical. Wisha was the one who kept those ways. And Wisha's gone. She took some scrolls and she fucking left. So she's gonna
Question.
have her priestesses there.
When you guys banished the chained oblivion,
Yes.
where was that to?
The abyss.
Oh.
The
We
abyss.
didn't
Well, you guys didn't, but it
It
yeah.
chained him there. It prevented
It
him because
chained him,
because
yeah.
what he was doing was Velsum was opening the rift so that the chained oblivion could move through and retake presence on the material plane as he had once before. Because like at the prior to the Dawn War, he had kind of like blah, 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 out onto the material plane, and there was a bunch of gods who were involved, who like gave parts of themselves to seal him away. We know Arathis did, we know Pelor did, we know Ioun did, we know Moradin did. We don't know who. There's 7 seals, and we know who 4 of the gods were. Io did, and we don't know the other 2. So they were like the gods gave part of themselves to chain and to lock Tharizdun in the abyss. And yes.
The gods gave parts of themselves,
Yes.
and then she went there
Oh shit.
and she spent time with the chained oblivion being like, I want to fuck these guys up as badly as you do.
Oh fuck.
Takey little things. Now she's back. How did she get out? Like, you know
And
what I mean? Like, she went there with now the same goal as the
So
chained oblivion.
And I mean, she also had vengeance to seek on the chained oblivion too, because he was the one who corrupted her high priestess.
Yeah, but she doesn't know
Yeah,
that.
so
Like,
maybe she bullies the Chained Oblivion, takes his shit. Like, whether or not she's in league with the Chained Oblivion, what Yanis is saying is Chained Oblivion has things
Yeah.
she take
also
through persuasion.
he has knowledge and like, you know, but also she doesn't know, right? Because she thinks Nephisicet was a traitor.
She calls Nephisicet the usurper. I
Yeah,
don't
but
think
I mean,
in essentially yes, but I
she
don't.
she doesn't really know that the chained oblivion was the cause of her demise necessarily.
Nepi told her.
Okay. Well, I just mean, it just seems to me like it'd be very easy for her to be like, we have a common enemy,
Now,
which is the pantheon of gods. I mean,
well,
why else would she have gone there?
she could have like, with the chained oblivion as locked away as he was, like after Nepi, created the new seal to help hold him there. The tether holding him there is 3 seals. There's 3. The Arathis seal, the Nephisicet seal, and the Titan who is asleep in Chlor. Those are the 3 seals that are essentially holding him there. So I mean, potentially she could have gone down to the abyss, bullied the shit out of the chained oblivion, and been like, "Fuck you, dude. You did this to me. You corrupted my high priestess. You know, killed me, essentially."
We don't know. He might not even be alive anymore. She might have gone down there and ended him,
She might have, and
and then taken the pieces.
then
Well,
been like,
I don't know what you're but I don't think there are pieces like my understanding is that the pieces are in the seals that are used. They're
Yeah.
basically just curses holding him there. So the only thing there with him are curses.
yeah, they're like
Essentially.
their power. The power is instilled in the item, which helps bind him there, like
Yeah.
Nepi's ring, Kokane's, the key in Kokane's chest, and the Titan that is asleep in Clore. All the other ones are broken.
No,
The
I know, but
Paler
in
one is
my
broken. Like those are all broken.
in my mind's eye, I imagine the seals as representations of what was down there. But in my mind, it was sort of almost like they each, and this is just me completely reading too much into it, but in my mind, it was almost like each of them forged a link of the chain that chained him.
Kind of.
You know what I mean? And then the seals are representations on our plane of that.
Yeah, hey, before he got all sealed up and whatnot, was his name just like the
Oblivion.
fancy free Oblivion? Like
I think it was
just
just
kinda-
Tharizdun.
the vibing Oblivion? Like
Yeah, I think it was like, and I mean, he was always his just symbology was always like madness and chaos, hunger, and never-ending hunger. I can imagine he had some other name before that, but once he was tethered, and this was like he was tethered to the abyss pre-Dawn War, and the only reason he's been able to have some foothold back was Velsum.
I'm hesitant to think that he's working with she's working with Tharizdun just because like he's the one who directly essentially killed her. She is upset at the gods for not doing anything about it. But he's the one
he didn't kill her. The thing is, like, he tried to overthrow her, and then he didn't succeed, and the rest of the gods just never did anything to fix it.
Well,
I know they didn't know, but
he corrupted Asilis, her high priestess. Asilis and Nepthysiket called the Raven Queen, because they were both priestesses, to Manta. And then Asilis was essentially a faith forged of the Chained Oblivion and was given a dagger that was imbued with his magic, as well as poison from, I think, Zahir, and probably some influence of Bane is there as well. And she stabbed the Raven Queen, and she killed the Raven Queen. And Nepthysiket, in her, like, the Raven Queen's last dying moments, essentially was like, I'm going to try and protect you, and shunted her to the negative energy plane. That's what happened. Yeah.
what if she went to go get another dagger that could kill a god?
She has the dagger.
oh no.
That's not great.
She has the dagger, and the runes are red. Rather than yellow, the runes are red.
Oh, sick. So she sees Palor. Shank.
Shang.
Hey, what happens when the sun dies?
She might use the dagger to kill. I think that Kato is a conduit of some type. And what do we know about ritual sacrifice in this universe? Like, Velsum did a ritual sacrifice on Dela, the princess from the Amonkhet, and that was what like kicked off the Dawn War. Essentially, he broke the hand of Io to kick off the Dawn War and allow Tharizdun's influence to like come back out onto, because Tharizdun then corrupted Astitia, and then Astitia corrupted Garrix.
Need a tissue. 2 larynx.
Don't. And then we were doing so well. And so yeah, so like I think that killing, or like I think that Cato's death will be in greater it's not just killing him as a like fuck you to Palor. I think it's like his death is a conduit for something. That's what I think anyway.
It could be that it's a way for her to jump to that plane that is otherwise inaccessible, so that she can go kill Nepthysiket and reclaim her throne as goddess of the transition between life and death.
That could be. It seems like though she has so much more freedom in this role, though. I would be loath to think that she would want that position back. There's so much order in the way that role like that the role of Nepthysiket, or the role that Nepthysiket filled, the transition has to happen in a very specific way. Like she has to it's all about the balance, it's all about the order. And like Nepthysiket was a high priestess of the Raven Queen, so she was going to take a lot of the tenets from that over.
Yes, but she is crazy of a 2,000 years and very angry.
This is very
Yeah, I
true.
think-
I don't
Yeah,
And
and
so
she
she might not-
also she
It's
built
mainly
that
about-
order. Like that order exists because she was like, I think this is a good idea. I'm the Raven Queen. I make the rules.
So she might not now be the ideal candidate for that position, but she also might be like, "Fuck y'all, I'm getting my job back." Like that's
But
not a
I
that's
think
not a
she's-
very
Yeah, I don't.
she's
I
not getting
don't-
her job back. She built the company.
Yeah.
I don't
Like
think so. I think she's just more like, I don't think she gives a shit about whether people have a good transition between life and death anymore. I think she's just hell bent on
vengeance.
vengeance. Like I don't think it's about what happens after. Like I don't think she's like, oh, once I've killed all the gods, I'll take back my position. It's more just like, no, I'm just gonna kill everybody who didn't, come help me or didn't save me.
My sense is that she's gunning for Pelor because, as I think Sean or Matt mentioned, that it's like Pelor is, the gods are not more important than the other, but Pelor is kind of like his seat of power is Wolfreen. Like that's his patron city. He has an exceedingly strong hold of belief across this continent. Like his belief is very strong. I think it's a message. I think it's I can come for Pelor. I will fuck your shit up. And it could even be that the rest of you need to get in line, or I'm going to do this to you.
yeah, it'd kind of be like if you wanted to take out the Avengers, no better place to start than Captain America. Because
Pelor's kind of like the Captain America of.
He's like the worst Captain America.
I mean, I would personally take out Iron Man, but that's
Well, but that's the thing. Fucking okay, this isn't an Avengers thing, but fucking Tony Stark is his worst
welcome
enemy. He'll
to
cannibalize
our
himself.
Avengers.
I think that she's going to send a message to the god that could have acted to save her. Like all it would have said would have been Pelor would have had to say, "Yep, we'll help her," and he didn't. Because I can imagine that if the call was put out, there could have been gods who were like, "Yeah, let's help her." And one word from Pelor, at least the way that my sense is the way that the pantheon is constructed, is that it's it's a council. If they're all sitting of the good and neutral pantheon, but if Pelor said nah, it would be like no, or he would be like nope, and people wouldn't go. So why pick off the people below him when you can go straight for the top? Especially the one who's got the strongest hold of belief on this continent. Because picking off, Arathis first is not that Arathis is any less important, but she's small potatoes. Compared to...
no one gets upset if Glittergarl kicks the bucket.
Or yes, it could be logical that she would go to Nepthysiket first, as the person who now holds the power that she had. But also, Nepthysiket, the stronghold of belief isn't here. It's on the Amonkhet. And even still, stronghold is a big word.
Wait, what do you mean by here? Because we're in Garyang.
I'm talking about Wolfreen.
Oh, okay, hell yeah.
Yeah. And Cato Halskani is from Wolfreen. So his main temple is there. The Sun Speaker is there. I don't know. That's my logic behind it.
So if we assume that her goal isn't just killing everybody.
Yeah.
That might be on the way, but
or a part of.
Yeah. But is her goal to become to essentially usurp Pelor as the most powerful god?
I think we just have to go back to her new title, Matron of Vengeance. Vengeance is all about destruction. There's nothing after that. This is Kill Bill Part 1. She's got her list of 5, and it's not until you realize she has a kid that her, motivations change. If her name is to be believed, there is no profit with vengeance.
It's like what Yana
hurt,
was saying. When
yeah,
does it stop? It doesn't.
Hurt the people who hurt me. I haven't thought that far ahead.
I don't need to think that far ahead because it's just chaos afterwards.
Or maybe, I don't know, maybe she takes up pottery or something. We can't know.
Crazy theory.
Always. Dish it.
Go with me on this one.
Okay.
I'm here.
Buckling up.
The things we do know about Paylor so far
Mm-hmm.
are not super chill. Like, he is in a position where we assume that he is good.
Neutral.
Or, sorry, we assume that he is neutral.
Yeah.
Wait, I mean, he is
like a neutral good. Like neutral good.
But follow me down.
Pretty lawful good.
His angel.
It's pretty fucking lawful.
His angel.
Go on. Mm-hmm.
That was with Finnan.
Yes.
His will.
Was super, super shitty.
Yes.
And as far as we know, he wasn't like some sort of like rogue angel. He was like a straight up regular angel of Paylor.
A powerful one.
Mm-hmm. What if the Raven Queen, before she became the Matron of Vengeance, knew something about something that was happening in the Pantheon that Paylor was part of?
Ooh.
And she was taken out because she found out stuff where she knew stuff. What better way to do that than someone who was theoretically chained up by Paylor? The reason I say it is it seems weird to me. Like, knowing how Tim DMs, there's always a moral gray ground or gray like area to all of his villains.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a reason. There's always a rationalization. And her just being pissed that no one came to help her, it doesn't feel like enough. Like, it doesn't feel like, it doesn't feel like a reason for her to go to all this effort. And what I wonder is whether or not there's more afoot. Like, in my mind, is there would be no better story than to find out that even though she's crazy and like hell bent on vengeance, she's not necessarily wrong for doing it. That's my crazy theory. There's not a lot to support it. I
like pieces of it.
I don't like Paylor in this world, and he feels weird to me in this world. And I don't think that everything in the gods realm is necessarily as perfect and cut and dry as it seems.
Oh, certainly not. I'd agree with that. I think there are allegiances and alliances for sure. I mean, I think I agree with what you were talking about how doesn't seem like enough. But I think also what we need to remember too is that the Raven Queen's death wiped out her stronghold of belief. It destroyed Manta. It absolutely ravaged Manta. There is very few folks left, and I know the reason that the Raven Queen even was able to exist in the negative energy plane, is there is a small group of folks who were sheltered from the Dawn War. Neppy has no knowledge of this, but I do, because of another campaign that I played in set in this universe, where they strongly believed or had allegiance to the Raven Queen. And my sense is it was their belief that kept her alive in the negative energy plane. And Nepthipsiket's like shunting her there, to be like, hey, don't die here in your mortal body. Go there where you can try and heal without another god trying to come fuck you up. But she was wiped. She and her belief system were wiped off the material plane. Like this little belief group, they're not on the material plane.
So one piece of supporting evidence to my crazy theory is our friend, time traveler bro,
Aegis?
whose name I forget, Aegis, the displaced. was guarding her for a reason.
No, he wasn't guarding her. He was guarding the
Okay.
study.
Was he not at the tomb when she awoke? Hence why he
Yes.
got stabbed?
Yes, but he doesn't have a choice. From what I understand, based on what Halora told us, he doesn't really have a choice where he went. He messed with
But he was
chronomancy a
but
bit
he
too
wasn't
much.
but he was in places where he was needed.
He was in places where he was needed, yes.
So
And he might have been
and
put
those were his
there.
last moments. That's how his life ended.
Yes.
And he also kind of seemed to know his entire life, even though he was living it in different orders, because he knew that
Yes.
he would die there.
Mm-hmm.
So if he knew, because he met her when she was a little girl.
Halora?
Yes. Remember, she was lost and he found her. That was 500 years in the future.
Or at least 60 years in our future.
Sorry, 60 years in your future.
Well, 40 because she needed to age to be like 26 or something. But yes, decades in our future.
No, more. If it's 60 years to the... Oh, yeah, anyways, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
in the
Little girl,
future
yeah.
that he met her.
Mm-hmm.
So he knew, timeline-wise, what would happen between 400 years in the past to 60 years in the future, at least.
I don't think that the Raven Queen knew who Aegis was.
I'm not saying she knew. I'm saying he knew who she was. And he was there for a reason.
Yeah. Maybe not by choice, but he was there.
He was there. So I'm just saying if she was her coming back to fix something that's in the realm of gods is important, then he could have been there for that reason because he knew what was going to happen in the future.
Okay.
Oh.
Here's a question.
Okay.
Aegis knew when he would die.
Yes. And
He
how?
knew of his death and how. And he knew that he was going to places that were important. He didn't have full control over where he was, but he knew where he was going. He knew what was going to happen, sort of.
He's just living his life out of order.
So there's a scenario where like he has no control over this and he just died.
Mm-hmm.
But there is also a scenario where his death was specifically important for a reason. That he died there because that was where and when he was supposed to die. Not because like he's like, oh, it happens there, I know it is, but like there is a reason. My death happens here because I need to die here for this reason. As somebody who has the ability to be in the future ahead, past his own death in some ways, him dying there might be, he in the future looking back might have been like, I have to die here for this reason because I know what's going to happen.
Really complicated when you start doing time travel stuff.
Yeah. My
Stuff
eyes
gets
would start
wibbly.
to cross.
Stuff gets
Hey,
wibbly
what's
wobbly,
with
timey
that?
wimey.
What's with that dream palace? What's with that dream palace?
Before we get off this, just one more thing, that he, just because he died does not mean that he lived. Like, we don't know how large of a chunks he was living in before he was moved to the next time.
Mm-hmm.
But he might have experienced the living and the death part of his life decently early in the sort of grand scheme of things, right? So then he would know, oh, this is where I died. It's in my past, but it's technically in my future.
Yeah.
But it's also confusing because I can travel through time. But anyways, if he knew where he was going to die and how he was going to die, he could prepare things. So like he knew the Raven Queen would come back and he knew she wouldn't be friendly. So he could then put things in place to either prevent what was going to happen, because he lived after she'd come back technically as well in terms of like timeline. So, and then he meets this girl and he trains her for possibly exactly this purpose.
Because he knows what was going to happen.
Because he knows what's going to happen.
I'm convinced that Halora has
She
like
has something to do with this.
she has something to do with
A
it,
role to play.
yeah, I think she has a role to play, and I think she has knowledge that she may not know she has. Like, I think it's one of those things where, like, you have like a mentor student situation where the mentor is just laying in little bits of like, here's things that you need to know, here's things that you need to know, here's things that you know, and it's a situation where the student then unlocks those access to that knowledge at the opportune time. Classic mentor mentee situation. That it's like, I think Halora has knowledge that she doesn't know she possesses, and I think that she plays a huge role to play, or she has a huge role to play that she may not even know. She's like, well, I have some knowledge, and I was like, no, no, baby girl, I think you got more than that. Will she come fight? Like, will she come with us? I have no idea, but I think that she has a very large role to play in
I,
this.
I also think it's interesting because she establishes a weird sort of like time thing, right? Where she's trying to prevent something from happening, which would then, in essence, change the course of her own time thing. Like, it depends what sort of time world Tim's deciding he's going to play in. But like a lot of them, like, you can't actually change the past, right? Like, you attempting to, it almost reaffirms what happens.
You become
So
your own granddad.
exactly, kind of some weird thing like that. But basically what she's trying to do is she's trying to stop her town from getting destroyed. But like, if she truly understood time, she'd know that that wasn't really possible, because like
Well,
Aegis couldn't do something like Aegis. If he experienced his death before as an earlier part, he could have tried to do something to prevent that,
Well, she said
but
that
he couldn't, right? So
she said that they tried to do it and they misstepped.
yeah, she tried to save her town,
Yeah.
so by going back before, but she misstepped and went 500 years too far back.
Yeah.
And now she's living time linearly to get to the moment before it gets destroyed, so she
Yeah.
can prevent it. But I don't think, like, what I'm saying is, if depending on what kind of time world Tim's playing with, like, you can't prevent things from happening that then directly influence you going back.
let me hop in here because time fucking travel shenanigans I do know about. We got 3 schools of thought. The Back to the Future thing, where you change it and whoa, I disappear. The it's all a loop, you can't change anything thing, where you accidentally become your own granddad. And then the third one, you can't actually change the time. You just hop into a different reality that's identical to ours, and so you create a new timeline in which the fucking thing was never destroyed, but those people did die. But you know, it was you by going in time, you create a different reality. Those are sort of like our 3 options. And if it's the third option, which is sort of the more Rick and Morty style, then she's in business. But she can't bring back the people who died, just ensure that these other people don't.
Tim loves Terminator, and Terminator exists in the timeline where your past affects your future. So then, like, the whole reason John Connor becomes the fighter that leads the resistance is
he does love Terminator.
Because the Terminator
look at
came back.
Kokanee.
Exactly.
Fuck.
So what I'm saying is the timeline theory that she can't save it is reinforced by his love of Terminator. So I don't think.
Wait, how does the Terminator timeline work? It's so dumb.
John Connor becomes the head of the resistance because the Terminator came back. So he knows it's coming, so he has his life to prepare. That's how Terminator timeline
And then
works.
Halora has basically, I mean, not to confirm nor deny. I mean, yes, I can confirm that Tim does love Terminator, but as he sits giggling over there.
Wait. No,
But
let me dig into Terminator. Look, I haven't seen the last one, but I'm sure.
I didn't say my thought. I didn't say my thought.
Okay,
So
sorry.
I can confirm that Tim does love Terminator, but also I can, like, and I don't know what credence this lends to anything, but like Halora did say, like, I have to live this long so that I can try to prevent this thing. I was able to shunt myself back in time. Aegis helped me do that. I just shunted myself back too far. And she's doing exactly what Yana said. She's now spending her life learning and preparing and trying to be as, like, ready as possible to prevent this thing from happening. I think somewhere in there she has gotten tied up in this stuff around the equinox and the gods and stuff like that, because of Aegis's connection to Ayun and the fact that he was holding one of the seals and was essentially the prime guardian of that seal. I think she's gotten herself kind of like, she is interwoven in the fabric that holds that story together, but I don't think she thinks she's a part of it. I think she is. But I don't think she's like, no, I'm gonna go save my town. That's why I'm alive. And Aegis was helping me do that.
If you guys hang around, Aegis is going to show up, by the way, because it is the equinox,
Yeah.
and that's when he shows
Go, Matt.
up.
Go. Matt has a thought.
What if tomorrow goes absolutely to shit? Like, the Raven Queen kills all the gods because of something that we do.
Fuck.
It's just that's where we're starting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Worst case scenario.
We go back to the mirror tomorrow, where Aegis, who knew this was coming, had trained another person to try, and then the two of them help us go back in time. And we have to undo it again before it happens.
There is nothing I would like less than to actually participate in time shenanigans.
It's difficult and complicated.
I think
Aegis
something.
could show up, but secondly, 60 years in the future, that town that gets destroyed, that's definitely where campaign 2 starts.
Oh,
That was literally the first, the
nice.
moment she was like, oh, the town is destroyed 60 years from now. I'm like, this is all breadcrumbs for campaign 2. This has nothing to do with campaign 1.
I mean,
This
Tim
is
did.
all campaign 2 breadcrumbs right now.
Tim has talked about where he would set campaign 2, and there are a couple of options. Garyang was not on that table, but I could see it being now. I don't know.
I don't think you guys will go through time, but I do think it's an interesting idea that Aegis could show up. You would have to wait, which is, like we said, time is not your friend, but there might be a benefit to having a chat with Aegis before you guys bounce out of here. Just because I feel like he could probably help.
Aegis will appear, I believe, as far as I'm aware, the moment that we need to have delivered the boy by.
No, he needs to be there by midnight.
And isn't
and Aegis arrives at sunrise. Am I making that up?
Tim? When did Halora say that Aegis usually arrives on the day? He's there for the entire day of the equinox, so he too is there at midnight.
So yeah, 2 places at once.
We can't be both places.
Well, not all of us. Let's send
Sorry,
Brack
no,
to talk to Aegis.
Everyone, shut up for a second. Yes, we're on the day before. Yes, to deliver Cato. Yes. Yeah, so like essentially we have to deliver Cato to Manta by midnight on the transition between the 8th and the 9th of Peldavin. And then literally at midnight, the stroke of midnight, on the transitioning between the 8th and 9th of Peldavin, Aegis shows up in Garyang at that tower. So we cannot be in the two
Do you want to know?
I mean, we could drop off the kid and tie him up by 11 and still make it back to Garyang by 12.
This is the most batshit theory I'm going to throw out here. Cato is Aegis.
Nah.
No, but think about it.
Aegis was blue. You can't not be blue.
Cato shows up. Raven Queen's like, you were there. You were an important part to play in this. That's why you were there at the end. So I need you to go back there now. And he shows up there on the day, and for that day always, it reset. He always shows up there that day.
I don't know if I buy into that. He was a race
Aegis
that we didn't.
Blue.
We had
Aegis
no idea
blue.
what
Cato's
race he
not
was.
blue.
Cato's a little.
You can't hide
shit.
that.
You can't.
You can't hide blue.
But
Everyone knows that.
But Finnan's known Cato his whole life.
Yeah, but Cato had to start. Aegis had to start somewhere. Aegis had to be a kid at some point. Aegis wasn't just born an adult.
Sorry, I was thinking Aegis was pretending to be a child.
No. I'm saying
you're saying a child
Aegis
grew into a blue man. That is true. Each member of the Blue Man group did start out as a human-colored person. They don't want you to know that, but it is true.
All I'm saying is Aegis. What if Aegis is being thrown through time and learning of how to control time is because some god took him on that day and just cast him into the weird.
No. This we know why he fucked up. He was studying chronomancy and he biffed it.
Yeah.
No one biffed it for him. That we know.
Yeah, he took his studies too far before he actually knew what he was doing, so that's why he was called the Displaced.
I love the idea that he maybe not on purpose, but once he got shunted into this sort of time bump, ends up, because he sees the future in many ways, ends up like, because we know that he doesn't just show up in this spot,
No, he's all over the place.
because he died not in this spot. So he is interacting with the world in other ways. I love the idea of him, like, trying his best to quarterback destiny through this time.
I love
He
that
for
phrase.
sure bought Bitcoin. Like he definitely
He got in early
he
on
definitely
He has a
GameStop.
got that
lot
sports
of Bitcoin.
almanac, and
He got in really early on GameStop.
yeah,
Okay.
like so early that it was actually still high valued because they were an actual like successful brick and mortar game store.
So question,
Okay.
that I think is interesting. He can see, he has knowledge of the future.
Mhm.
Yeah, like weird snippets. Yeah,
So if he is trying to actively manage what will happen because he knows about the future, his big output of that is to Halora. And this is where I think Em was talking earlier about Halora might know more than she realizes that she knows. If something is about to happen that is terrible and Aegis is aware, and Aegis, has to go in time, all this sort of stuff to set up Halora with the ability to stop what is happening. She might not realize it, but
Yeah.
what if he died at the Tomb of the Raven Queen so that we could find him?
Oh, sweet baby.
What if that was the thing that he needed to do that he was not able to do a different way?
to get out of the time loop.
We also have all of his items. We have everything he carried on him.
You should maybe look at what those items are because they might have significance.
She
now.
has, well, it's Neppy's amulet, Kokanee's sword, the lightning sword. There was a cloak, the timekeeper's cloak. Finnan has, either Callie or Finnan has
You
that
left
cloak.
it with Finnan.
Shit.
We left it in the car. Shit.
There
Does
was
anyone have the key to this lock that solves everything? Ah, shit, Finnan
Finnan
has
has
that key.
it.
God damn it.
But I think Halora's gotta know more. It's like energy, like knowledge that becomes unlocked the moment that she needs it.
Interesting point of fact. If we're just analyzing his weird time jumping ability, right? The weird dude who has the hand of Vecna came there specifically looking for Aegis.
Yeah.
So
He knows the
Aegis
secrets
would
of
have
the
had
future.
well, not just that, but Aegis would have had contact. I mean, might have had contact with him in his past. That like Aegis was like, oh, I know who Aegis is, and Aegis told me where I could find him.
Oh,
I got to go
fuck
find
on a
Aegis.
stick. Fuck on
Do you
a
know
stick.
what I mean? So
No. We don't know what race that guy is. We have no idea what race that guy is.
The gooey Vecna guy?
I have a hunch. I have a hunch what race he is, but that hunch is not knowledge that Neppy would have. I think he's Shadarkai. I think he's a Shadarkai elf.
Oh yeah, like what's her nuts? Tita, the sleepy one with the pink hair. She's a Shadarkai, right?
No, she's a Kori, or she's a Kalishtar. She's a Kalishtar. No, I think oh fuck. I'm gonna share some lore that I
Don't you do it.
Okay.
Don't you do it.
Okay.
This sounds actionable and at the table.
It's
I don't want to
not.
know stuff.
It's not. I think he's a Shadarkai, but that's not Neppy knowledge, that's Emma knowledge. That's all.
But I think it's interesting the idea that he might have met Aegis at a different point in Aegis's life, where Aegis was like, "Oh, I know you. I've defeated you in your future, but it's my past, and I need you to go find me. Also, we might get up to shenanigans before you do, because I have shit that I need to take care of and put into the place. So I'm going to put you in the perfect place for the perfect time."
Fuck. I think no.
Mute yourself, Sean, because I want to know this. No, I'm joking.
I think
actually I do kind of have to go to the bathroom. I can do that. You know what? Good call, Yanis. I'll be back.
Okay.
All right.
Wait,
tell me. But I will not participate.
Okay. So Remember I was talking about that group that kept the Raven Queen going? Shatterkai elves in the Shadowfell. I think, motherfucker, I think this guy might have been one of those elves, had come across Aegis and been like, or come across the Hand of Vecna, learned that Aegis was going to, in some way, shape, or form, mess up the Raven Queen's plan, and came gunning for Aegis to be like, you can't mess up my queen's plan.
Or Aegis put him on that path because
Aegis.
Aegis knew what was going to happen. And he's like, we need the Hand of Vecna to be in this place at this time. And so I know where I can go find you.
Oh, what do we
'Cause
have to use the Hand of Vecna against the Raven Queen?
Well, I don't think it's that.
Oh, good. I
But
don't
this was a
wanna use
thought.
that.
This is a thought that I've been holding for quite a while.
Okay, dish it,
is
please.
if we're saying that this is the time, the theory of Aeon is
Aegis, you mean?
Aegis, sorry, is actively managing what is happening and is
Yeah.
setting the right things up to give us the opportunity to stop what is going to happen.
Yeah.
If that is the path we're on, he has that guy here specifically for a reason. And I think, other than the hand, the other thing that he has is secrets.
Knowledge.
You can come join us, Sean. He can't hear us. It doesn't
He
matter.
can't hear.
What if
Thank you very much.
what
Right,
if
baby.
what if the reason that Aegis has him here is that we
We're talking
have
about secrets,
to
boy.
Love him.
we have to ask him a question which will
Yeah.
give us information that we need
Yes.
in order to stop what is about to happen.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
that
I was gonna
is-
say I want to talk to the secrets guy.
That Aegis found a way, like Aegis at some point found him, goaded him into coming and attacking him, being like, here's my
Ooh.
address, like, don't attack me, so that the guy would come here so that he could capture him, so that the guy would be here right now when we would need him.
Oh, I like that a lot.
It's very
I think
pretty.
we need to talk to Secrets Boy. I think
But
we
I
need
mean,
to talk to him.
I think that same argument could be made of all the people who are here, including Curie.
Kindry?
Oh, sorry, Kindred,
Kindry.
because she's also a race that you don't know about with abilities that we don't know about.
Yeah.
I also have a weird feeling that the time that the city gets blown up or whatever might be closer to now than Halora knows, because she
Interesting.
wasn't able to give like an exact amount. You asked her like how long, and she said, oh, I estimate another 60 or so years. I mean, 60 years is pretty quick when you start looking at hundreds. So, it could be that in the time that she's spent waiting, she's lost track of how long it is or truly is. And the thing that causes the city to disappear happens more immediately.
Well, and
or
I mean,
closer to
especially
now.
if she spends so much time in the dream space, like if she's working, she would have to keep track of every hour. She would have to be so meticulous about the days passing. And I mean, I can totally understand the desire for her to be like, let's get me in a body that can live that long. Let's give my essence, get my essence into a body that can live that long. And like, I gotta say, like, I think there is so much more of this episode that we can talk about too. But like, when Tim threw in that it was Etcher for me is a very special character. He was in the Adventures in Amonkhet episode 34. He was a paladin of Arathis. And he was like one of her like special chosen. And he, went with this group towards the Amonkhet, and he was part of the group that helped essentially give Velsum the power kick of the Dawn War. Not that they knew that at the time, but like, I was hoping it was Etcher. I love when Tim does a throwback like that. And I think
It's
that was
also
like
weird
very beautiful.
because it gives like a weird sort of almost Arathis blessing to the body.
Yeah.
Like it almost feels like Arathis would be okay with her becoming like a weird Warforged, in the sense that a Warforged helped her create it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying for sure, like, Arathis might not be chill with it, but it feels like if Kokanee decided to help someone build a Warforged body, it would feel almost like a weird blessing from Arathis that that's okay. And the fact that he then helped her, it makes it feel sort of like, oh, well, maybe that's all right then.
Okay. What if, and there's no facts behind this, what if Aegis did something super early in our campaign to get us to go to Caradoc? To wake up Arathis, to wake up Etcher, to build the body, to set us up on the path where we end up here with the body of New Halora and the Secrets guy and all of this one day before the world is going to end.
Why did you guys go to Caradoc?
Soren Brightwing sent us there.
Shits and gigs.
Just a person asked us to.
Just a person.
Yep.
Soren. And Soren Brightwing was
She was a dragonborn that we met in a tavern who looked really sad, who wanted to get into the Thexan Academy, and was told that the only way she would get in is if she investigated the Mother's Eye and figured out why the lighthouse was on.
And I wonder who told her that.
She was given the decree by the head of the Thexan Academy,
Who is
go there.
Zacchus?
who was Zacchus at the time.
Who we fought. We
Killed.
know Zacchus. He works for Garrix, two Larynx, Twin Dragon, getting my Bugatti. It's all the
Viper of the
pieces.
Sky, yeah.
The Viper of the Sky. It's all coming together. Hey, just point of order. Secrets guy, he does have a name. He said this
does.
one's name is Forgotten. He's Forgotten. That's his name.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I'm
we
into
can
it.
call him Forgotten. That's a fun
He's-
thing to call him.
I like it.
No, I think yes, but I think that the theory is
Yeah.
that like he knows his true name. But like if we know his true name, the whole thing around true, like we don't know also what type of creature he is. True names have power. If we know his true name, we have power over him. And
When you ask him what secret, you give it to him and he's like, oh, do you want a secret in return? And you're like, yeah. What's your real name?
You're right.
Halora,
Div,
you
you
belong
got
to
me
me.
there.
Halora did say that sometimes he speaks not in most exact of terms.
I don't think he's going to give away his true name. It's not like we're zone of truthing him.
I imagine that if he
And
is the if he is the professional share of secrets, he has gotten very good at, while not lying, not telling you enough, to give you what he doesn't want to give away.
my
So we-
name rhymes with Schmalexander and starts with a vowel. I'll say no more.
I think
Alexander, you are mine. How did you know?
I think we gotta talk to Secrets Boy. I think we have to talk to Secrets Boy. I don't want to, but I have to talk.
I mean,
to
let's
Secrets Boy.
see what Kindred tells you guys first.
I am so curious about expanding upon like learning about her and Limerick's relationship because I think she's let him in to the dream
Yeah.
palace when he was sleeping, and that's why I think he's in love with her because they've had this like beautiful little courtship, and she has probably very little experience with people, and so they've met two homeschool kids.
Two more homeschool kids.
Two more for the homeschoolers. Yeah.
But I
I think that she's let him in, and they've had some form
She's-
of courtship, but we don't know. Like, I wonder if the reason she's not waking up is tied more to like she knows what's going to happen, like she could know what's going to happen, or she's waiting until there's more Kalishtar.
was like I was saying to you before the stream. I don't think her waking up is necessarily a good sign. I think it's going to be like an indication of something super, super bad. But what's interesting too is Halora said that other people of other races that she'd never encountered had visited Kindry in her dreams.
Other Kalishtar.
So I think that she knows a lot about a lot of stuff.
Oh,
And
totally.
she's like working a lot of things in the background.
I think, and it'll be a matter of getting Kindry to trust us, to be willing to tell us that kind of stuff.
Hey, here's a thought. Just to add to the to-do list next time we're in the Dream Palace, so Saturday. If we're in a dream, can we look like whatever? Can we just
I
be
was-
like,
It was very serious in there, and it was a big thing, but I really wanted to see if I could fly. Like just like think I'm flying. Like why not? It's a dream palace, right?
It's all Inception.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. A dream within a dream.
Is it like your residual self, or like do we have our
Well,
matrix plugs?
that was my
in
sense.
the-
I was like, I don't think Halora looks like what she looks like in her dream. I don't think I think Alora's body is a lot older. She's like this body is nearing its end, nearing the end of its life. And like Tim was giving me some of the names of what the actual names of the rooms are, because it's like at this point we're probably not going to know the rest of Halora's, like the Iron Lyceum. We're probably not going to see the rest of it, which is devastating to me because I want to know what the rest of the rooms are.
Or the armory that we just didn't touch.
I know where the armory is.
Probably.
No,
But
we
I
were
won't.
in the armory. We just didn't open up the things,
The
right?
cabinets, yeah.
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 Probably for the best, because we're not taking all of her stuff. And if we had taken it, we at this point would have had to been like, hey, sorry, like
I guarantee Etcher's
go.
I guarantee Etcher's weapon is in there.
Well,
That's
I
true.
kind of buttered her up. I think we can do like a
I think
like a
if we
spending
asked-
spree in there. Like
I think
she's
if we
gonna give
asked
us
really nicely,
she's-
we would give us the holy weapon of one of the most prolific paladins of Arathis.
No,
I think she would give us
She's,
that back.
she's gonna give us a shopping cart and say you've got 30 seconds. Like,
No.
and we just get to take it off the shelves, whatever
No,
we
no,
can
no.
get our hands on.
I
Yeah.
have a thought for you, Sean.
Yep.
Those items, as she has said, are valueless to her because she has gained the knowledge from them.
Mhm.
So if we have anything that is of knowledge to her,
We can swap
Trade
seas.
she has no care for those items
Give me a
anymore.
moment. Give me a moment.
So, Sean, anything you can think of that you're not that attached to that she doesn't understand, you can probably just say, "Here you go. Can I take something else?"
Yeah. Here are a pair of air striders. I have no use for them. What can I get from you?
Well, I don't like that. That's we're keeping.
Well, no,
those.
because that has no use
sure.
to letters.
Oh.
That sounds great to me.
Let me tell
I
you what we
see.
have in the bag of holding.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, we got some evil shit in there. We have
Let's
I'm
go
not
to
giving
that.
up those spurs. I'm not giving up those spurs. I'm never gonna go evil, but those are mine. Or maybe I will. We'll see what happens with Kato. Like that would tip.
we
I
have
finally get to wear those spurs.
we have the Kopesh in there. I'm not giving her the Kopesh. We can't give her those.
No, it'll make her crazy.
Yeah, they'll make her crazy.
We could give her the spurs. The spurs would be safe.
The spurs let you summon a nightmare.
Yeah,
but
and they
she could-
belong to a demon lord.
But like, if she really wanted to summon a nightmare, she could probably already summon
Yeah,
a
yeah.
nightmare.
Yeah.
What we're asking is, what is going to have like academic value
I'm
to
sorry.
this?
I'm saying I think that might have academic value to her, but would not be considerably dangerous for her to have as evil items go.
Yeah, Copish
Yeah.
bad. Because the things, the spurs don't make you evil. You can't even wear them unless
Yeah.
you're already evil.
Yeah.
So I feel okay about that.
It's like, can we trade you the very, very she's gonna give us our amulet back, which is nice. I was like, that's
Lovely of
ours. So nice. Thank you for giving us back. Limerick took it and it wasn't his to take. But I think we should get the Sunblade back. I think we need to get the Sunblade back. That would be great.
What's the Sunblade and how did we lose it?
We didn't lose it. It's just a sword that Etcher was carrying. It's his
Oh.
It's a holy relic of Arathis.
We don't know it exists.
We don't know it exists. I just want it back because I know about it.
We don't know it exists.
I know. I'm just also looking at the bag of holding here. We don't have the Baron's armor anymore because we did a dumb thing and we put it in some lava.
That definitely destroyed it, right?
Pardon?
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone, and we don't need
Definitely
to worry
destroyed
about it.
I mean, we don't. Who knows about the next generation?
Yeah, we're fucked.
Campaign
We're fucked.
2.
We
Season
have,
2's in trouble.
but I mean, like, I think that we've given her the potential to have the High Priest of Arathis help her get into her body.
We've also got all of Aegis's shit. She's gonna love that. Not just for academic value, but for sentimental value.
I mean,
we can extort her with that. Like, ooh, you want this sword? It belonged to your boyfriend.
It's my
Like-
only sword right now.
I don't think she can't use
Okay,
it.
whip man.
She might be like,
you
no,
can get a
please.
different
She might be
sword.
like, no, please use it. Like Neppy's holding Aegis's amulet, and yeah, he had a bunch of things. The owl, I think the serpentine owl was there? I
Yeah,
don't
but
remember.
it's a very
could-
likable owl. Maybe
I could be down to trade it with her. You know, hey, if this has sentimental value to you, do you
That's
have
the pitch.
another sword?
Trade it for the
I
Yeah.
sunblade.
can have?
Trade it for the
it's called Sunblade.
I don't know it exists, Emma. Keep that away from the table.
I'm sorry. I know too much. But I think no. I think that like, and like I think we also have to talk about too the fact that like, she's not. Nobody is perfect, right?
Mhm.
Like she has done some shit that is not great, and I know that there are
Mhm.
members of our party who really don't like her. Like, I think. Yeah, I don't think Callie likes her in the slightest. From what that comment that Callie made was like, I don't buy children. Like, I don't know if anyone caught that, but like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Guys, I feel like her buying the children was like her trying to help the children. I didn't feel like it was like a, oh, I'm collecting children. It was more like a, you know, I'm helping. Like this is, I see it as a way of like helping these people by taking this girl who's always asleep, whose parents can't care for her, and then giving them a sum of money. Like
I don't have. I mean, it's hard to like justify this stuff, and also we don't really know what happened. But like I'm not enormously worried about. It sounds like the Limerick experience is pretty close to slavery.
Yeah. That to me doesn't sit right.
I mean,
She described him
sounds-
leaving as I allowed him to escape.
And said he is now in solitary confinement until
No,
he
but like I
changes his
said
ways.
before, she said that if you can convince him to go, he can go.
Yeah.
He just can't take Kindry. He's not a prisoner. He's just not allowed to have free roam of her home while he's trying to kidnap her ward.
But
Yeah.
before that,
Yeah, it's the before that.
it's
that
the
I don't
before
have a
that
problem
I
with.
have a problem with.
I don't have a problem with that. It's the problem I have is with the period
use
from
of-
after getting him till when she allowed him to escape.
And the
That's
bit
all
that,
those
like,
experiments and
I
stuff.
discovered that
Yeah.
changelings are created when a doppelganger, you know, and a human bear a child.
But
I
listen,
was
Great
like,
lore, great
did-
lore. Is that official lore or is that Tim Carlson blowing my mind? Because
I think that might be a both and. Tim might have done some
Oh.
research, but he also might like Tim really likes to create lore about how races come into existence. Like he has the dwarven creation myth, which is through Seer, the Hearth Mother. He has a tiefling creation myth, which is actually different than like in canon 5th edition. Like how tieflings were created, or how their lineages are created. So Tim has lots of really cool theories, and that's something that he loves to do, is to justify how things come into existence in the world. Like his concept of how magic in Terrace was created. Like he created the stuff around all of the his deep Aslan moments, like the deep magics, and like the which he and I wrote a lot of it together, was talks about like ages of the world where magic comes into place, where the first people to get magic were like druids, and then magic was for the pious because it was given from the gods, and then you have sorcerers, and then you have warlocks, and then you have wizards and stuff like that, as people start accumulating knowledge based on certain things. And tieflings were created around the same time that warlocks were. And it's gifts, it's deals of heritage. And it's not just so simple as someone in your bloodline had sex with a demon. It's more complicated than that, which I think is really cool. And I think that there's so many great, creation myths that he's put in there too. So I think that, and like what I love is that Tim is now, with the way like introducing characters like Kindry as a Kalashtar, and having changelings in the world. Like we've met 2 changelings, being exceedingly rare in this world. We've met 2 of them. We've met Seven, who is changeling rogue, and also Limerick, changeling rogue. And I think a lot of them, talking about that exploitation of power. And I know there's some stuff that Sean knows about Seven, and that I know about Seven, and their exploitation and stuff like that.
Yeah, I do know that, but why don't you say it out loud so we just make sure we know the same thing?
Seven was part of a thieves guild, and known as the Resurrection, which is big in Clore. And they were exploited for their power because they can essentially change who they are, and they're an assassin.
This is very familiar to me, and not the first time I've heard it.
Okay. So I think that it's really interesting to see the way that these races are being introduced into the world and giving them some context to being there. But we already have precedent for the fact that changelings are exceedingly exploited. And like Limerick, granted, we don't know a lot about his history, but when someone says that they've been experimented on, and like Halora
Don't know
hasn't
what these
given.
experiments are. Like, if she said, "Hey, can you look like this dude so I can take some readings?" and he's like, "Yeah, okay," and then he looks like that dude, and she like does some like magical readings, that's theoretically an experiment. It doesn't mean that she strapped him to a table and like probed him with needles and shit. Like, you can experiment on someone without it being a negative
But the
like
implication was he wasn't
experience.
allowed to leave.
Yeah, but I get this implication, like, and this is just me, but I get this real feeling of like a teenager who's rebelling against his parental figure being like, yeah, she totally wouldn't let me go. And like, she's holding my girlfriend. And she's like, yeah, because it's Yang and it's fucking dangerous out there. And people are going to be like mean as shit to you. And you're safe here. And like, and he's
She
like, yeah,
did?
but you're just keeping me to experiment. And she's like, yeah, well, I'm not like a good mom. Like, I never wanted to be your mom, but it's shitty out there. And like, I've done my best to keep you safe. And then he's like, well, I'm going to go. And she's like, fine, I'm going to let you escape. Like, you go see how fucking shitty it is out there. And then he
Mm.
came back and she didn't like punish him. And she's like, oh, welcome back.
Uh,
No, she didn't punish him. She's like, welcome back. And he's like, I'm taking Kindry. And she's like, no, you can't take the sleeping girl out into the world. She's a sleeping body. Like, people are going to fuck with her. And he's like, well, I'm not leaving till, well, fine. Then you sit in the corner and you think about what you've done until you're ready to be a grown up. Like, that's the whole sort of feeling I'm getting. And like, there's been nothing that she's done or said that makes me think she would like experiment in a negative way on a young boy.
In defense of that theory, when we met Limerick, he was about to be eaten by giants. So
Not
her
exactly.
not letting him out, barring our involvement, if your goal is to have him not die, was a pretty good plan. Once he's already in Garyang, there's kind of nowhere you can go. The safest place you can be is the mirror.
Also,
But
your
Also-
friend, who, well, not M's real friend, but the Warforged, whose name I forget,
Etcher.
Etcher.
was killed by Morris Fike.
Hmm.
We don't know why he was out there that led him to be killed.
to go kill Morris Fike.
To go kill Morris Fike.
Vengeance.
Because Morris
Okay.
Fike killed his party.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Morris Fike
Um,
was the giant that killed all of Torrin's companymen, and Torrin was the only one who escaped.
So the only problem with the like you can't leave at Skaryang and you're gonna die theory is that she's a super powerful wizard and could go wherever. So if he's like, I'd like to leave, could you please put me somewhere that's not like deadly? She could probably do it essentially like this.
That's true.
Because she's talked about how she traveled all over the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, as we've established, changelings are exploited.
No,
And
for sure.
generally, like, I'm
So
not
better
saying,
the devil you know than the devil you don't?
well, I'm not saying she's a good mom. I'm just saying an overprotective parent is very different from keeping someone prisoner as a science experiment. Like, all I'm saying is so far, everything that Limerick has told you guys has proven to be very roughly the truth. You know what I mean? Like, the pink picture he painted you, though not technically incorrect, was not exactly like she had a warforged that she kept captive. No, turns out they were friends. Had a girl that she kept captive. No, just a Sleeping Beauty character. Yes, Em.
So this is me. This is me putting on my therapist hat. When you're speaking to people, there is always going to there. You are never, ever going to get an objective reality. You can't. You can't know what is the objective truth, because in this situation, everybody has a certain truth. Halora has her truth about what her intentions were. She can understand her intent. Halora has all of the knowledge of the inner workings of her own head and what she intended to do with the situation. She may not have any concept of the impact that has had on Limerick. She may fully understand the intent, but she has no concept of the impact because she doesn't live in his head. On the other side, too, which means that she can never fully see Limerick's truth. And it also prevents her from seeing the objective truth about what reality was in the situation. Limerick, on the other side, has his truth. and he may understand the intent of what Halora's, her actions have done to him, or the impact of what Halora's intent has done to him, but he doesn't know her intentions. And in vice versa, he has intent that she can't understand, but she can understand the impact. The impact on Halora, she's going to take Kindry. And Kindry to Halora, I can imagine that there is some care for her. Absolutely, the way she talks about her, and she's obviously trying to keep her comfortable. She's allowing her a dream space. There is a lot of talk about consent when Kindry lets you in, building trust. Like for me, that was like, okay, she's at least respecting this girl's boundaries, right? But I mean, we can't tell Limerick that the impact that has had on him is wrong.
No, that's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is just that he painted a picture, though true, was very different from what you guys are discovering.
Her truth.
Well, whether it's her truth or not, I mean, you guys are you discovered a very courteous caretaker. You discovered they have a pool of healing. It was not a pool of hurting. Like there's so many things that you guys, when initially viewed, was like bad, which
I
is
think we're going to get a more objective truth from Kindry.
Oh, 100%.
Because I think Kindry has access to both of them, and she'll be able. She has access to. She's had access to Limerick. I can imagine that she lets him into her dream palace, and they converse and talk and have wonderful, beautiful discussions, and probably fell in love. Maybe she has feelings for him, or maybe it's one-sided, and she's let Halora in, but Halora knows nothing of their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So it may very well be the case that Kindry was like, get me out of here. Kindry may have fully said to Limerick, get me out of here.
No, 100% agree. I definitely think we're going to end up finding out that Kindry wanted to leave, and Alora, being the overprotective mom, is like, no, you can't. I 100% think that's exactly what happened. But it doesn't change to me the fact that, I don't think Halora is a bad person. I think she's just,
I think she's an imperfect person. I know myself and Neppy happen to very much disagree with some of the things she's done, but I can understand why she did them.
I mean, the real black mark that we know has happened is she did purchase a child from slave market in Bacall. If you're like, oh, I want to make sure that kid is safe, you're a wizard, you can probably sneak her out. Oh, but it is a lich thing. Oh, it's tough. What do you do? We don't know intentionality.
She's really... like, oh, I could have kidnapped you. She literally said that. She's like, I could have kidnapped you, but I decided to purchase you because it's easier, a cleaner transaction.
Legal at the time, because slavery was legal in Bacall for a very long time.
Yeah, but we're not interested in legality. We're talking about who is this person? Because the right thing to do is if she's like, I want to change things because I love science. Okay, sure, that's its own thing. But this, I am the best person to have this other person because everyone else in the city is complicit in the slave trade and there's bad things. But the way you do that is not supporting the slave trade, is you undermine it and you steal the person. Fuck you, slave trade.
I think that from what I see at the moment is that he would be better off with me than anything else is a rationalization afterwards of I want that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want that and I can have that. Bonus, I am providing them a better life.
Yeah.
I don't think objectively, Kokanee very much is a fan of the person buying people from Bacall.
As a former, essentially, slave of Bacall.
But I think the reality, where we are right now, is that we don't have a choice. About any of this. Yeah. This isn't a question of, is she a good person? It's a question of, what do we do tomorrow?
Yeah.
We have 24 hours to stop something on a scale massively bigger than what is happening here.
Mm-hmm. And I think too that I think from Matt's point too, there may be time in the future where Halora faces some sort of her own moral reckoning. I can imagine that will be part of her future if she hasn't already done some moral reckoning and rationalization of trying to come to terms. When you have 500 years to sit around, I was also as someone who is also a workaholic, this is maybe just me speaking personally, but like as someone who is also a workaholic, I work to not think about things. I can imagine that she works a lot. Maybe this is me reading into things, but like there will come a time where she sits through some sort of moral judgment of some essence. And I from Matt saying, I don't think that's now, and I don't think we're her judge and jury. I think we need her.
I feel like she should be pretty far down the list of people we want to take umbrage with.
Yeah.
In terms like
I just don't have time, man.
Yeah, I don't have time to.
But I struggle a lot sitting here as Matt talking about this with the idea of somebody basically told us that they were kept captive as a slave. I as Matt feel uncomfortable us now talking like sort of not entirely, but talking about rationalization and reasons for like, oh well, they did like treat them okay, so like it's not, it's not so bad. They didn't do like terrible experiments or anything. I'm not, super happy with what Halora did and don't think that it's okay, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, but I mean, I also heard kids when I was in high school say shit like, I can't wait to get out of my house. Like, I feel like I'm a captive in my own house. Like, and it's like
they weren't literally
sure, but the difference is
they didn't have
like
we're also in fantasy world. Like,
but that's what I'm saying is like, did Limerick specify like, yo, I'm literally captive. They lock the doors and I can't walk out. Like,
yes.
Yeah,
she said that she allowed him to escape,
That's...
which means that for the rest of the time he was not allowed to escape.
And he talked about being
like that's...
locked away, like in a locked, and like even if you look at the door to his chamber, the caretaker there was no handle on it.
And he's never been in the same room as Kindry. Because he's in the other room.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's that weird.
Being locked in your room all the time?
No, not being allowed in the same room as the sleeping girl.
But he was saying that when we first met him that he was locked in the one room, like able to see her but not able to do anything else.
Maybe that's in reference to the dream space. Look, I think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. But look, Kindry's got some splaining to do.
She at least has some insight that she's going to give us.
Because we need help. We need help. Please explain what's happening.
I think that'll help a lot. But I think that where I'm at, like, I think it's like, I struggle a lot with justifying the things that she has done because they sound in many ways from Limerick's point of view to be very hurtful to him. But I think that the point isn't, sorry, Yanis, I think the point right now isn't that. Like we have to do the bigger thing at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to clarify though, I am by no means trying to rationalize her owning him as a slave.
Oh yeah, we know. We
know. I'm more just saying I don't know whether his overreaction to it is like, that sort of like feeling of being kept captive when that might not necessarily have been like, we don't know how dramatic he is. Like he might just be a very dramatic person who is like, woe is me, the world is against me. Like the time you guys spent with him was one day and all he did was fight people and rob you. Like that's literally the extent of what he did, was kill people and then steal from you. And like, other than that, yeah, he was pretty mellow, but he just murdered people with you and then stole your stuff. And that's like all we know about Limerick. So
we know he really knows how to hit a jugular on a giant. Like,
yes.
Like if you think about how talented he was with a bow, he must have been having some practice. Like there was definitely training and shit that went on when he was there. It's not like you don't get that good by spending your whole life locked up in a room. Like there was a whole training ground that he would use.
And also a giant portal to hell in the middle of it.
Hey, that portal probably led to a lot of other places. Tim had to roll a die.
Yeah. Or to
there
roll
are probably worse things that came out of that portal. It was probably a very bad room to spend time
in the map that I created. I was like, that's a portal to hell, right? And he's like, you don't know. I was like, you motherfucker. Like I was like, it's a portal.
You don't know.
You don't know. It's Tim's favorite question when I ask a question that he can't have the answer to. I think that talking to Kindry will probably give us a more middle perspective, like walk a middle path as to what might be actually a bit closer to the, or a blending of the objective reality, or of the realities of both of the people involved in this situation. And I'm in agreement with Matt. Like, we can't, we are not, at least in this moment, we do not have the time to untangle the moral quandary here. Like, we need the knowledge that Halora has. We likely need the knowledge that Kindry has. We likely need some of the abilities and the stuff that Halora has, because otherwise the world could fucking end tomorrow. And a lot of bad shit is going to happen. And there was like a line when Kokanee was talking to Neppy about that, like, you know, we can't be everywhere at once. And that I think is both, both a physical thing and I think an emotional thing. That there will come a time where maybe we do have to unpack a lot of the morality and the emotional stuff around what Halora is doing. But that time is not now.
Being a high level adventurer, the nature of it in a D&D game run by a DM who, creates a diverse world. If it's not just like a railroaded story, the nature of it is it becomes a trolley problem.
Mm.
Like rolling towards the tracks, one person, you pull the lever, it hits somebody else. Or 5 people, you pull the lever, it hits one. The nature of being a powerful being is that your actions have implications, and every action that you do will help some people and will hurt some people.
Mm-hmm.
And that those are realities that we have to live with, and those are struggles that we have to live with as characters. If the world ends tomorrow, we didn't save everywhere that we weren't. I guess not if the world ends. If the world ends, everyone's screwed. But like if we save a city when the world is ending, all the cities that we don't save, we could have saved but didn't. And we have to live with those things because we can't be everywhere at once.
And we're literally in the middle of a trolley problem as well with the Matron of Vengeance. Like, Neppy made a deal early on to say, give us a chance here in Bacall. Do what you can to give us a chance here in Bacall. That was the deal she made. And now we are facing the implications of whether we pull the lever. Or we did pull the lever, and now we're having to deal with the consequences that come after that. So it's a moral quandary. And I mean, I think that's something that Tim is so good at as a DM, is setting up these like emotionally laden, morally laden situations that have consequences for the party. I'm thinking of your last episode of Behind the Screen, like when you guys talked about like what would you like for your world, and I really loved Cody's answer to that. It's consequential. That that there is and Tim's talking about engaging, and when Adam was talking about living, that it was like that there that's the beautiful thing about an unrailroaded story, is that other things go on in the world. Other things happen that we don't know about, that we don't have the money hole. We chose to ignore and let the money hole exist as it was, and a god ascended. We could have gone in early and fought a small baby dragon, and now he's a god.
Maybe we call up Task, be like, hey, just like we could have stopped you, we didn't.
We didn't.
We've got some trouble.
Let's flex.
Could we like get an IOU or something? Because like, we're talking about this, danger pantheon situation. We got Unity and we got,
Unity's not a god.
There's something.
They're
I'm just saying,
being.
we know people who aren't on the matron's shit list. And I'm like, do you want to get on that list? Do you want to? Do you want to show up?
Do you want to get on a shit list?
I think we call in some favors. Do you want to piss off the most angry being in existence to stop a 16-year-old who's a bit of a douche, let's be real, from something
Through Finnan's
happening to them.
perspective, is a bit of a douche.
Hey, I saw him at the fight.
That's true.
He's
That's
fucking.
true. A little shit.
Also, he's the chosen of fucking Paylor. Like, let me just talk about Paylor. Like, I love the Paylor in this world because when we're talking about, because I think Paylor is like at the very least good, if not lawful good. He's got to be lawful because of the way he punishes people, and just his idea of good is 100% consequentialism. And like early on when we were talking about gods, like do gods do right because right is innate, or is right because a god says it's right? Paylor is what I say is right.
Yeah,
Like
what I say
what I
goes.
am is good, and what I say is good. Thus, I am lawful good. I just create all the laws.
It's like a very like early real world polytheistic religions. Like you're looking at like Zeus from that religion, where like he was the like all father essentially, to steal, but he also just like it was by power, and
Yeah.
he kept the world and did everything that was needed for the world to keep going, but it was all through power. And there are many people. Zeus left a trail of punishment along the way of him sort of moving towards good, I guess.
Yeah.
Paylor feels a lot like that to me, like that sort of god.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like big Zeus vibes, and also like big like Odin.
Yeah.
Vibes too. I get a lot of Odin vibes from.
To be fair, I feel like Odin was much less. I position myself as the good guy, but I'm like
the guy.
Hey, fight for me, and we get to party forever. Like,
I sort of see Paylor like a little bit actually, like if we're talking about like the Norse mythology, not perfectly, but in some ways he's got shines of like Thor, where Thor's like, I'm the good son, and like of the sons of Odin, and I do good things, and we're more or less keeping everything fine. But like once in a while he just smashed a dude with a hammer. Like he did like bad things all the time.
Yeah.
Like Thor never met a problem he couldn't hit with a hammer.
True.
Paylor never met a problem he couldn't make a rule about and was like, this is how it goes. Like I think that the next because we're moving on like an hour by hour basis now, it's like I think that the next 3 to 5 sessions will have markedly huge implications on the rest of this campaign. I think they will change a lot of the course of the world about what is happening. And I think there will be a lot where our party is our bond is going to be tested over the next 5 sessions, because there will be, this reminds me of the moral quandary around Galar.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was almost a schism right there. Like there was almost irreparable damage that happened there. And I think that while it may not be as, because we're all on this generally we're all on the same side with what needs to happen over the next little bit. We don't know what that is, but we know that it's got to feel good and it can't feel bad. But there are going to be some big moral quandaries that our party is going to have to face, and I think it's going to change the campaign. The next 5 sessions are going to change this campaign, especially how we enter into the like consequential. I think especially what we do now, the way that we approach this will set us up for how we approach the shit with Korra and the Legasis Empire. The big, like, godly playing a universe into existence aria becomes a duet, timey, like that shit. I think this is going to set us up for that shit in the future. Just casually, that other stuff that is in the future also.
How do you lose D&D? All your players die, and you can't play the characters anymore. Or you end up in such terrible positions and make such reprehensible decisions that you don't like the story that you've ended up with.
Ooh, I'm gutted.
That is how you lose D&D. Like if there are a series of actions where we end up not wanting to be a party together anymore, like the characters, and we do not like the things that we have done. I think that is like how you lose D&D, if there is a way. And I think that we are closer to that than we have ever been. Because I think that like Letters maybe in the worst case scenario would deliver the boy. And I think that Callie would never adventure with Letters again if he delivered the boy.
Yeah.
And I think that Callie wouldn't be able to like Letters anymore.
Hmm.
And that's losing D&D. Like that's where we're at.
And
That's why this sucks.
And I think it's also that's why it's riveting.
Yeah.
That's why we have spent the last hour and 48 minutes pondering through this. That's why we do chatwater. That's why we were like, fuck the lore. This episode, we need to debrief the previous episode.
We make our own rules.
Make our own rules. But like, I think that's why we're all the beautiful thing about D&D and about the way that this campaign is working is that we are so emotionally invested in this that we are as players are processing emotionally the next 16 hours of our characters' lives. Like, I am so invested in the emotional outcome of what happens to Neppy and these other characters that I care about very much over the next 16 hours of their lives. I'm so invested.
I know what you guys need to do.
Thanks, Yanis.
Very,
Oh,
very
Yanis, thank God. I'm
Very,
so
very simple.
nervous. So you having the answer makes me feel so good.
100% have the answer. It's foolproof. Foolproof. Letters is going to teleport you guys all to Wolfrine.
Sick.
Okay? And you guys are going to tell Tim, hey, we're doing a 6-month break time down.
We're
And he's
going
like,
to the
but no,
beach.
but shit's happening. He's like, no.
We're going to the
I don't
beach for
care.
6 months.
We're sticking our heads in the sand for 6 months. And we're gonna let this shit happen in the world. And then once it's all been decided morally, we'll stick our heads out and be like, where's the dust settled? Evil, evil, good, evil. Cool. Now we know where we're at.
Who do I
Let's
need
try
to
and
kill?
fix it. It's way too difficult having to be the guys who make the choice.
And that's
So,
what happens in upper
back
level
to
D&D.
Wolfrine.
Let's
Head
just
in the
react.
sand, 6-month break.
Well, we have 16 hours to prepare ourselves.
Let's
15 now.
abdicate the decision and
Then
deal with
once
the worst
everyone,
case
yeah,
scenario.
once everyone's just declared exactly who they are and where they stand, we'll figure it out then.
So Emma.
Yep.
I have one last question for you.
Mm-hmm. Please.
Do you think that the next episode is going to be of our D&D game
Yeah.
is going to be more or less difficult and fast-paced and talk-inducing as this one?
Yes. I don't think we're going to get to lore for a bit, you guys. I don't think it's going to happen. And honestly, as your lore keeper, I'm okay with that.
6-month break. Just telling you, just consider it.
Yanis,
Chat it over with the rest of the
Yanis,
group.
it's genius.
It's
You've
genius.
you've solved our
It's
problems.
foolproof.
It's foolproof. We solved their
It is
problem.
fool-
You heard it here
it
first.
might make it more difficult, like gameplay wise, but morally much easier. What is Sean counting?
We keep forgetting Kindry's name.
Kindry.
And
And
Kindry?
we need a mnemonic device. You are right.
Nope.
mnemonic
we're-
device.
that's our
yeah.
show. That's our
Nothing
show.
rhymes with Kindry though.
That's our show.
Nothing rhymes with Kindry, and I can't tie it to a Bugatti, which is the real problem.
Before we get into any of that, I'm going to say that is our show.
Kindry met Limerick on Tindry.
Get out of here.
Oh,
Get out of
Kindry
here.
met Limerick
Okay.
on Limerick
We
on
love you
Tindry.
all
He'll pick up in her
very,
Bugatti Viper in the sky. Sorry,
very-
keep
Yeah,
going.
she
We
swiped
got
right. She swiped right
there!
because he had a picture with a Bugatti.
You forget that I'm in control of the OBS. It's very,
Viper in the
very
sky.
lovely to have you all come and listen to us
Kindry,
talk about all
Limerick
of
on
these
Kindry.
wild theories. If you have any wild theories, please send them to us. Please post them here in the chat. We love having
You have
you
a
folks.
Bugatti. Send us a picture.
Get out of here. Get out of
We'd
here.
love to see
I
it.
have a
All
quick
right.
question for you, Em.
Mhm.
When all the primordials went to fight in the Dawn War, where did they store their Bugattis for that period of time?
Good night, you
the
guys.
Lord-
Good
the Lord bless you.
night.
We have